Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another entry into our BH15 preseason podcast previewing the players and their second chance stories. Today, I am so excited to get to talk about a player from BBH 13, Miss Anna, and joining me to help us preview what Anna's second chance might be is the winner of BBH 13 herself. Miss Crystal. Crystal, how are you?
Hi, good. Happy to be
Well,
here.
yes, and I am so excited to be here with you. Obviously, I love talking to you any chance that I get. So I'm excited to talk to you about your finale buddy, Anna.
Really my end of the game buddy, my corresponding twin buddy. I have lots to say.
Yes, well, and I just think I'm thinking about too, like now you just put it in my head, like the point at the end, towards the end of the game, where you and her just kind of like, you know what, we're done with this. Like we are, like we're putting this to the side. Like, how are you? Like everything good? Like, yeah, like and just like really connecting like on that human level, which is a strength of Anna's first and foremost, I
Right.
think.
We both did it. And I think when we played together, I recognized at a certain point before we connected in the game that I was like, she is my counterpoint. She is like the person like me on the opposite side of things from me who's somehow woven into both of these clusters on this side, and I wove into both clusters on this side. And I was like, that's dangerous. I need her out. And she saw me and I saw her, and she nommed me and I nommed her. And then we made night. And I was like, okay, I really enjoy her as a human. Even if she's bullshitting me, it's fine. Whatever. She's really lovely. I hope to get to know her more.
Yeah. And then ultimately, you guys do play the entire game together outside of the final, the final two seats. She's there on finale night, and you have that entire experience with her, and you know, ultimately, like I'm very curious your thoughts on Anna because I'm for one am extremely excited to have her back for a second chance.
I am beside myself excited about it. I can't wait to see her play. I think coming in this time, she obviously knows the lay of the land. She came in. I don't know how much Pietro prepped her for it or not. Like I don't know what level of information she was given or if she did any research. But from what I understand, she kind of hit the ground a little slow and didn't quite know what was going on. But there were some more experienced people that kind of did the same thing, and there we all were. And I think now she'll know better to sort of have those initial conversations. I'm very interested and excited to see how she interacts with some of the people on this cast. I don't know what order you're showing these in, so I don't know that I
Right.
want to spoil who's here and there, but I think she's going to see some friendly faces, and I think she will also I don't know that there's anybody that would be directly opposed to her.
I don't think so. Not
I don't
not that
think
I can
there's
think of.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone in the cast that is like kind of coming for blood with her, which is also puts her in a great position. And I think the people who don't know her might fall into the same trap they did with both her and me and us underestimate kind of her capabilities and what she can do. So it'll be fun to see her snow some new fools.
Well, for those of you who do not remember or weren't a part of the community for BBH 13, let me give you just like a brief overview of like Anna's story. And Crystal will help me fill in the gaps here, of course. But Anna comes into the game fresh. It's her first game. Her season 10 winner Pietro tells her you would have a really fun experience doing this. You'd be so good at it. And she comes in with just that information. She doesn't know much about the show. She doesn't know much about the community at large, and she has a very slow start. I think like there's a world where Anna goes out in 13th or 14th, 14th or 15th place had season 13 not had a few quits at the beginning of the game, kind of had some space for her to grow into the understanding of what was happening around her. But the minute that somebody tells her, hey, the game is happening and you need to get on board for this, she flips the script and she becomes a force in the game. She she's the perennial block queen who never goes home, but she has such amazing relationships with the cast of BBH 13. She's able to weasel her way into several like key relationships with I'm thinking of, her relationship with Phil and Eric, her relationship with you, her relationship with Tay and Stoner. Like she's just constantly weaseled her way where she needed to be and ultimately makes a deep run to the final three, and is cut because of a deal that Crystal and Susie have with each other to go to the end with each other as the final two.
I say, if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, and I couldn't not do it. But she, before I kind of got like, the glow of Anna,
Oh no. Okay. I'm gonna keep vamping. We're gonna keep going. Anna, like um she has this really beautiful arc in season 13 where she kind of just appears from out of nowhere. She goes through this adversity where she's on the block versus Tevin to rising to power and trying to figure out what the heck to do with it, and people are pulling her thing, and eventually she says, you know what, no, this is what is best for me, this is what's best for my game. And she shows that throughout the rest of her time in the BBH 13 house. So I, I'm excited to see what she does coming into a second chance now that she knows the way the game works, now that she knows the pace, now that she knows, you know, it's not it's not just a fun game all the time. There is backstabbing and nominations, and you got to hurt people's feelings, and you have to make tough decisions. And I'm curious to see how she holds up um, against this cast of second chancers, people who are part of the org community, people who played great games in their first season. And I'm curious to see where she falls in. I think Crystal is absolutely right in saying that I don't necessarily see a lot of people coming for her early on. I don't see a lot of people. You're back. I don't see a lot of people like. I think people will want to work with her, is what I'm hoping. Um, and I'm hoping that she'll be able to find her footing a lot earlier this season. So let me see if I can get Crystal back in here because I would love to get her. Getting lots of messages. OMG, just keep going. Okay, I'll keep going. So I've talked a lot. Crystal mentioned that there's a lot of um strength for Anna in her social game, and she won a few comps here and there. She was no slouch in competition, so there's potential that we could see her, wield power here or there over the course of the season. I also, I'm curious. I definitely think she has a mind for the game. I'd like to see her flip her strategic chops a little bit. There you are.
I
You're
don't know why the internet hates me.
It's okay. It's okay. I vamped for us. I was talking about her strengths. Her social game. She was obviously that's the best part of her game. She was no slouch in competition. She did very well throughout the course of the season. And I'd love to see her rise to power in an all-star second chance type situation and see what she does with it. I'm curious from your perspective, like I was just talking about like her strategic chops, and I think she has a mind for the game. I definitely see that she has a mind for the game. Um, I'm there. It's unpolished just because she didn't know and she didn't have a ton of power in season 13. What do you think? Like her chances to run a strategy or to strategically be like in the upper echelon of the season? What do you think she's gonna have to do to make that happen?
I think she's ballsy as hell, and she's going to do whatever it takes in a moment, and I think that's amazing. I think we have a lot of out there players, and I think as much as she will do whatever it takes to kind of get what she wants, which I admire, she won't stand out as like messy as some of our other players might be. And I would say, I would also say, as I was saying before, the internet so rudely cut me off. There were a couple moments in the game before I started working with her when other people I was working with closely, for no reason, I had no reason to think they had relationships with her until they're like, well, I talked on and I really like her. And I'm like, I've never had a fucking conversation with this woman. What the hell is she saying to you? How is she getting to you? What is she doing?
Yeah.
So
She's so easy to talk to. I mean, that's the thing. Like,
great.
and like, and I
I had
don't know if it's, I don't,
conversations with her. I was like, oh, I get it.
yeah. And I don't know. I mean, if it's because like, English is her second language. So to me, like when you speak to her, she comes across as very earnest because she's choosing her words so carefully because she's code switching. She's thinking in a different language and she's not trying to think about Spanish. She's trying to think about English. And to me, that comes across as just it's incredibly earnest. But then I felt like as I watched her throughout the season, I knew she was lying to people, but like they were just like it was just going right over their head. Like it
She
was
had that rare ability to come off very candid in whatever she
yes.
said. And I think people, and she speaks English beautifully, but because English was her second language, I think it removed some of the threat level of maybe what she was capable of doing.
Mm-hmm.
Which was garbage because she's so smart. Like
Yeah.
she's so fucking smart. And it's like, nah, she almost beat us all in her second language, you guys. Like,
Right.
no, she might be a genius.
Yeah, no, honestly, like, and that's I think sometimes like I've heard the mantra before of like, it's harder to lie in a second language than it is to lie in your primary language. And I think if people like have that kind of like in their brain as like, that it's just like they're not gonna see it coming and
I
and,
never
and
thought that. That makes sense, but I like never thought that. I was like, oh, okay. I see what's going on here. I see what
no,
okay.
that's funny. That's
I think she and I both like we probably bullshitted each other just a teeny bit, but we also were pretty much like
yeah,
very authentic at the same time. I would leave things out. Like
right.
it was an overt liar. And I think she could be an overt liar very, very well and very impressively and very believably. And
Yeah.
I think people don't really see it from her. And because she's so young,
Right.
I'm sure people are just like, oh, I could just like scoop her up.
Yeah.
Good luck
So
with that, friends.
yeah,
I'm gonna
that's a
do what I
dangerous
don't want
game.
to do. If you think you can scoop her up, you're wrong.
Well, and you're absolutely right. Like that, I just think about her HOH where she was like everybody was trying to tell her what to do. Everybody. And she didn't know what she wanted to do, but she ultimately figures out what she feels is best for her, ultimately nominating you.
It was the best
And
thing for her.
yeah, and like she's like all these people are telling her nominate Phil and Eric, and she's like, no, that's terrible for my game. And she stands up against the entire alliance and says, I'm sorry that that's what's best for you, but that's not what's best for me. And somehow she got off scot free
She changed
from
the
that.
whole course of the game. Well, she was on my shit list for like a minute there, but like
Understandably so.
I was coming for her for a couple rounds, but then we got nice chat and it was fine. She was coming for me, I was coming for her.
Yeah, and you guys knew, and it was fine. And
Yeah.
and sometimes you need people in the game that are against you or
It's
that
nice
you're
to be
against.
like it gave me a person. It gave her it gave her a person. It gave me a person to be like, I'm obviously going after this person, so don't worry about me. It's fine.
Right, exactly. So let me ask you, like, what do you think Anna's second chance story is? And I don't want to tamper like your opinion before I tell you mine because I do have a concern, I will say.
You know what? I don't think these games are predictable and weird stuff can go down, and you don't know how people are gonna kind of interrelate. I think we have a lot of very experienced people playing,
Mhm.
and she's almost coming in at the same she's like coming in like a step up, but all these people are like
Right.
up here. So she's still sort of coming in under that. But I think that could be a shield for her this time, like it was last time. And depending on which players do their homework or not, I think could greatly affect how she does in the game. And I think if she is able to hit the ground running and getting herself gently in with people, gently,
Keyword. And that's, yeah, keyword.
yeah, sort of like the way I did in the beginning, where I'm just like, I'm just gonna freaking talk to everybody and anybody who wants to talk to me, and then like, let's see how the cards fall. And I
Right.
think that's what you have to do, because every round, some people come in with these grandiose strategies, and I don't think she will, because I think she's more of a like intuitive feeler about the game,
Mm-hmm.
the way I was, and I think she will have the wherewithal to maybe this time address like her really only major pitfall in the first game, which was like building those early relationships. And it was, you could say the same thing a little bit for Susie, and
Yeah.
look who won. But I'm just saying, like, I hit the ground running, and I think she'll hit the ground running. And there's something to be said for, at least in like Big Brother and Survivor, on the TV shows, how people kind of pick up a little something from whoever
Right.
won their season and how they won it. And I think, I have no idea if she went back or like looked at
Right.
anything or has any concept of like what was happening in the beginning. But if
Right.
she did, and if she does, she has this time. The seasons are available. Not that like it really shows what I was doing in the beginning, but she
Right.
has that. She has an ability. She has that like key piece that she was missing before.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she has all the tools, but the field is her biggest hurdle.
Yeah.
Sorry
Yeah.
if that was long-winded, but that was
No,
also thinking it out as I was saying it. I did not come prepared.
no, it's fine. And I think you're very correct. And because and what you said, it hints exactly at my, I see two paths. I see one path where she comes in and people want to play with her because she's an unknown. She's unknown, and she's not like one of the like org vets that's around, and like and I really hope that that's the story that unfolds for her, because I'm much more interested in that than the second story that I see for her. But the
What's her
second
best
story,
path? I'm
it,
afraid of the second story. What is it?
it's well, and it's just that I think she comes in and she overcorrects. And I fear that like her first season, she didn't realize things were happening until like the third or fourth round. And then she was like, oh shit, like all this is happening around me. I'm screwed. And I'm afraid that she comes in and overcorrects. And then like the first round is like just too much. Like not too much like overwhelming, but just like she's talking to too many people. She's too obvious about what she's doing. She's setting up alliances, and like I just worry that she overcorrects and does too much or too early, and then it ultimately comes back to bite her.
Well, it was sort of the overcorrection of, I don't know what's going on. I'm not involved. Okay, I'm talking to some people. Okay, I'm gonna like make this like giant alliance out of nowhere.
Right.
So she kind of did it already.
True.
So she might have already learned that lesson. I hope she did. And
Yeah.
maybe she'll be more moderate in between the two situations kind of coming in.
Yeah. I mean, I truthfully do not want to see that for her. But it's like that's my fear, like given that she's not played another game, right? Like she only has her first experience to rely on, and she's not done anything else. And so if she's looking to fix her mistakes, like her biggest mistake or was early on that she didn't talk to enough people. She wasn't ingrained enough. And I fear that she comes in too hot. And I really hope I'm wrong, because I
I,
want to see her do well again, because I absolutely adore hosting her.
I really think her arc through the entire season of 13 was what most people get over the course of a couple games, also, to give her credit, because she really did
True.
like underplay, overcorrect, shift back, and like almost win the whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
she was right there. She was right at the doorstep, and she could have won. And yeah, like she wasn't that far off. It wasn't like, her second chance is more of like she was just new, and she's been sort of like through the fire and she's
Yeah.
learned the lessons. And I'm really excited to see how she applies what she learned from the first season, and curious to see if maybe this is like caused her to dig into any like other, like the Big Brothers on TV or anything
Right.
else, or gotten a little more curious maybe about some reality shows and maybe seen a little more strategy and play. I
Right.
don't know, but if she has, I think, she has some like deadly ability, and she has all the tools she needs.
Yeah, it's so natural for her, and
Yeah.
I would love to see her do well here. And if Anna wins the season, that's what a fun story. I
Pretty
think
cool.
what a fun story that has to be. So, well, Crystal, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time tonight to talk about Anna with me. Any final thoughts you want to wrap up with before we end this call?
Not too much. I'm really excited to see how these people play, and I hope they keep it polite.
Yes.
Ruthless and polite.
Yes, we love that. All right, everybody, join the Discord, buy some BBH merch. Uh, subscribe to YouTube. I don't know what I should be plugging here. It's a month in advance, but until you see us for real in the BBH 15 sphere, have a great one, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.